Can you disagree with someone at work and still have a good working relationship with them? The answer should be absolutely. When you have disagreement, it's not a sign of dysfunction or that something is wrong. It's actually a sign that people care about their jobs and the company that they're working for. As your organization grows, your perspective should grow as well. But we need to do it in a professional way, in a way that's productive and moves the ball forward. I've created a quiz with 10 questions that help you determine, is this healthy disagreement or are you just being disagreeable? So all of these are true, false, and we'll talk about them afterwards. But for right now, just make a mark, take some notes, identify whether any of these are true for you. Number one, and be brutally honest with yourself as well. That's going to help. Not the way you want to be perceived, but what's really going on between your ears. Number one, I tend to speak up quickly when I disagree. True or false? Number two, I feel better after expressing my disagreement. Number three, I believe I am seen more positively by my peers when I speak up. Number four, my goal in disagreement is to win. Number five, I want to change the other person's mind or behavior. Six, sometimes I let my emotions get the best of me. Seven, I can take things personally during a disagreement. Eight, deep down, I struggle to just agree to disagree. Nine, I can be civil, but I find it hard to like people who often disagree with me. And 10, I have trouble separating the person from the issue. So, how did you do? How many of those were true for you more often than not, or at least even sometimes? Well, let's break these down and unpack what this means. So, first question, I tend to speak up quickly when I disagree. Pause before you speak. Your first instinct might not reflect the whole information that's getting ready to be presented, so hold back a bit. Your opinion might change, your perspective might change as you learn more information. Listen longer. Number two, I feel better after expressing my disagreement. Disagreement is not venting. Ask yourself, is this about the current issue or some unresolved frustration from the past? You don't want to be digging up old things from months ago and using this as your platform. I've discussed in a previous video the 3-day rule. If there's something that offended you or something that you disagree with, give yourself 3 days maximum to get over it or bring it up. But after 3 days, if you haven't brought it up, you got to let it go. It's not fair to your team to be keeping stuff in reserve and keeping your powder dry, only to bring it up when the opportunity emerges where there's a disagreement. You don't want to be the one that's holding on to that stuff because that tends to make you bitter. And you also you want to protect your team from that unwanted explosion that comes out at an inopportune time. Number three, I believe I am seen more positively by my peers when I speak up. Being right doesn't always mean being respected. If you regularly challenge others without building consensus or offering solutions, you don't want to be the guy that's constantly poking holes in other people's ideas, but never providing an idea that would solve the problem. But if you go that direction, you risk being right, but being irrelevant. Influence comes from connection, so keep that in mind. Questions 4 and 5 are a little similar. Number 4, my goal in disagreement is to win. And number 5 is I want to change the other person's minds. If your goal is to win, everybody loses. You may win the argument, but you're going to lose the war. True leadership is about alignment. It's not about domination. If you beat somebody into submission, they may give up, but they don't really agree. They just don't want to argue anymore. I remember the quote from St. Francis, seek to understand rather than to be understood. I think that helps with your motivation and helps you look out for what's important for everybody, not just you. Numbers 6 through 10 are similar. Sometimes I let my emotions get the best of me. I tend to take things personally in a disagreement. It's hard to just agree to disagree. It's hard to like people that disagree with me, and I have trouble separating the person from the issue. When your emotions run high, perspective often shrinks. You're not at your best. Keep the disagreements professional. Never let it get personal. Stay curious. Ask other people about what's going on. A good question is, what led you to that point of view? Or can you help me? Um, Show me how your thinking process is to reach that conclusion. I want to understand you better. You're not agreeing necessarily in that moment, but you'd be surprised at how they arrived at that conclusion. By seeing their thought process, it might help correct a misconception on their part, or it might help you understand why that's an issue for them. You may wind up agreeing, or at least saying, "Hey, if I had had that experience, I'd probably be feeling and thinking the same way as well." I still disagree, but that helps me understand you and what's going on at a deeper level. Assume good intent until it's proven otherwise. When you extend others grace, they tend to extend that back to you, and we can all use more grace. If things get a little tense, lighten the mood a little bit with humor if that's appropriate. And I emphasize appropriate humor in that situation. But most importantly, keep your focus on the shared goal for the team. You don't want this to be about your own personal validation. It needs to still continue to be about ultimately what your team's goal is and why you're having this meeting to begin with. The bottom line is great teams don't avoid disagreement, they master it. Healthy conflict, grounded in respect, makes ideas sharper, strategies tend to be stronger, and your culture tends to be more resilient as a result. The next time you feel disagreement bubbling up, ask yourself not so much what to say, but how to say it. I'd be interested to hear any of your observations on what has worked well in the meetings that you've been in on how disagreement was handled. Be sure and comment below.